seconds.
I'm going on. Yeah, I'm going on mute.
Thanks, Pat.
1 minute. We better to give one.
There we go. It started recording, Councillor Islam. So if you want to start the meeting and welcome everybody.
Yeah, welcome everybody to join this meeting. 6 now, and hopefully we'll be running within the time. And if anybody has any question, please should they ask the question on the chat, or they can ask question directly. So can I just first of all, the agenda number 1, welcome and notice of recording. I advise residents participating and listening to this online meeting that a recording of the meeting will be available for future reference. So this is the first agenda. Second one, because we got the police inspector Gary. So do you like, should we just pass on to him to, just to say something about the resident of Newtown?
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Councillor.
Good evening to you. Thank you.
Good evening. Yeah, good evening, everyone. For those that don't know me, I am Gary Everitt. I'm the neighbourhood policing inspector for Ladywood East. That obviously covers the Newtown area.
Thank you. Yeah. So, do you want to say something about it? Any kind of statistics available? Anything about crime? If we haven't, I know it is unusually should not be here because we are in this afternoon. But anyway, if you want to, email me or to the committee, then probably we can circulate to our participating, the audience. So it is entirely.
Yeah, certainly I can get those figures emailed over to you. Adam McWalter, the neighbourhood sergeant, to send his apologies. He obviously was going to be here this evening with those details. Unfortunately, called away at last minute and hasn't been able to attend. Yeah. Obviously, I wanted to come along to this evening. Primarily, I suppose, to talk about some of the stuff we spoke earlier, Councillor, on the early meeting about the activity taking place in Newtown.
If anybody has any questions, then by all means, anybody from the audience, if you want to ask any question to our inspector, you welcome.
Chair, so, would it be helpful if the inspector gave his update first, so that residents can hear what's going on from the police in Newtown, and then if anybody's got any questions, they can ask after that.
I thought probably he hasn't got too much update for Newtown. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, the Newtown, we are, I think, in quite a good place at the moment from a crime perspective. Our main focus, certainly my main focus on that area, is trying to work more closely with the community. We're looking at, we have an event at the end of the month, 31st of July, a community event down in Burberry Park. A number of activities taking place there, sports, different partner agencies coming along, trying to get the parks back to being what they should be for families, for friends, and for communities to use. The feedback that I get from the community is that people at times are scared to go and use some of the parks down in Newtown and down in Aston, just because of the reputations that they have with gangs and youth violence taking place. Obviously, the big thing that I want to work on down there is reclaiming our parks for the communities and for the families to use. And the event that's taking place on the 31st is a kind of kickstart, if you like, for us to try and get down there and to try and draw the community in and work with the community as best as we can to reclaim those spaces. So we're looking at the Friends of Burberry Park. I would love to have set up. So that's something we're looking for support with the community to do that. Newtown in Bloom. I would love to see Newtown in Bloom as part of the Brittany in Bloom that's coming up later in the year. But again, all things like that are down to working with the community. We've got the resources. It's just people, if are interested, then we can do that. Change the focus of Newtown, get people passionate and interested and proud of where they live. So that's where we're working on at the moment.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions, please, to our inspector? He's very kindly to attend this meeting. So I think you are mute. You're muted. So,
hello. Good evening.
Yeah, it is now clear. It is. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good evening. I was wondering, because I'm from the Newtown area, will we be able to be seen more Bobby's on the road in the future like we used to?
Yeah, good evening, Sonia. But
Hello.
I have got quite a healthy team down in Newtown. We have got quite a few officers down there, and I know they are out and about on foot as much as they can. I suppose that the question I was asked when people say they want to see more officers is which part of Newtown do you live?
Well, I'm on Ventnor Avenue, so it's the Wheeler Street behind Burberry Park going up to
Gotcha.
roadside.
I know. I know where you are. I know where you are down on Wheeler Street, and I do sometimes say when you don't see police officers, that's almost a reassurance in a way.
Oh yeah, I agree.
If it's a high crime area and there's lots going on, then that's exactly where I'm going to put my police officers.
Right.
So when you see lots of police officers, it's either because there is crime, not necessarily. It could be that we're just looking to.
It's not always a bad thing when you see the police. I agree with that, officer, because sometimes it's just nice to know the presence are about. But you've answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? It looks like anybody else. Any questions? I think just for the information I can tell you, our Simon Foster, the Police and Crime Commissioner, he already in his agenda before the election, he said he would try to recruit more police officer, community police officer in Birmingham. So that could be one of the. I know that it is not that it's only a few weeks ago he became the Police and Crime Commissioner. Maybe it is within his agenda to do something about it. But anyway, he will be attending along with the the Chief Superintendent of Police to 31st of July at the Barbary Park. So probably we can ask him at that time the question: have you got any more police officer? Have you just demand for more police committee police officer all over in Birmingham? Anybody else has any question? No question, anybody? Can I now, in that case, can I now move to the Future Parks program? So Hamira Sultan, she is here.
Sorry, Chair, to butt in. It's Kay again. I'm not sure whether Sonia was trying to ask another question, but she's on mute.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry, it's because my sorry, I apologize. It's because my grandson.
No, it's all right. Yeah.
Sorry. I was wondering about cameras for the area. Will that come under a different department to you, officer?
We do have access to different cameras, so we work quite often on mobile cameras. So again, if we have a problem in an area, we have a number of cameras that we can put up. There are also cameras we have up at the moment around, I think, on Wheeler Street, to be fair, and around the Newtown Shopping Centre. So in the past, when we have had troubles, that they have been some flare-up points for us, and so we have got cameras set up in those areas. Yeah. Again, you might not.
I think the concern we're having as a resident is more for the use of catching unwanted fly tippers more than actual violence happening, because Touchwood at the moment, I know it's there, but it's not as bad for the violence. It's more the amount of fly tipping that's going on, because 1 minute on a Monday it's empty, and by a Wednesday you don't know where it's come from, and nobody claims to know anybody who's done it. It's just the deterrent.
No, and I agree. One of the things that I'm working on with Newtown is the fly tipping. So my team have been out last week before with the council, with the environmental health, and with the some of the housing providers down there, and we've been walking around the streets having a look to see where some of the fly tipping is to get it cleaned up. We're promoting as well the Fix My Streets, where is something where you can use. I don't know if you're aware of that, where you can, if you come across fly tipping problems in your area, Fix My Street, press a button and it uploads to the city council that where that problem is. Obviously, if we don't know where it's taking place, we can't do anything about it. If we're told there's a problem where the fly tipping is, then that's something that we can focus on and start to look at, and that is part of the work that we're doing to clean up that the Newtown area.
Oh, well, that's good, because I'll be able to feed that back to the residents and give them some reassurance, because we've just started up the Burberry Park Forum. So that's what we'll put on there because a lot of residents are concerned about that. Thank you. I'll let you continue. Thank you.
Sonia, if I can come in there, if you're just setting up a Burberry Park forum, I would be really interested in talking to you a bit more about that, about you, what the problems you face down there, and how I can work with you and support you.
Oh,
I've got lots of resources that I can tap into and lots of help I can bring, and it is for people like you that live there to have that conversation. Say, what do you want? I haven't got a magic wand. I can't promise everything, but I can certainly have a good go. So I'll put my email address and phone number into the chat, and if you want to give me a call or drop me an email, and I can arrange we can get together for a coffee, have a chat, and see what we can do.
Oh, that's brilliant, because I'll get some residents, because there's quite a few, and we can do that. Thank you, officer.
Please do. That'd be really good. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I've finished now. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your questions, which is very important in Newtown, because I have been emailing almost every day. It is my full-time job. I'm walking around almost 5 days a week and checking all the email. This morning I picked up something in a hospitality. There are mountains of rubbish. I emailed, but because it's been for previously there were about 8 weeks. It was not clear because when I asked the relevant department, they said because they got a lots of backlog of the fly tipping to collect. So which is one of the major headache for not only in Newtown, everywhere in the city except Sutton Coldfield. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions or any other concern? But can I proceed the next one?
Yes, Councillor, you can carry on.
Thank you very much indeed. The Future Parks Program, Hamera Sultana, can you just say something about the audience of Newtown, and that will be appreciated.
Thank you, Councillor, and good evening, everyone. So my name is Hamera Sultan. I'm a public health consultant in the council, and I'm leading this programme, which is called the Future Parks Accelerator. And it's really interesting to see to hear Inspector Everitt mention parks and green spaces. It's almost as though we planned our timing at Newtown Ward Forum together, but we didn't. So I guess I just wanted to really tell residents in Newtown what we've been doing for the last year and a half in other parts of the city. And we're now really keen to start spreading out the word and work with interested residents, wherever we find them. So I've got a presentation, but what I'll do, Councillor, I'll send it to Pat after this, and then it can be sent out to everybody who attended, and that way we'll keep this quite short and to the point. Essentially, the work of Future Parks is all about how do we get the whole of Birmingham and different parts of the council valuing green space. We have a park service that do a really difficult job under austerity to manage the 591 parks and open spaces that we have in the city. But the issue we have is not everybody uses them in the same way, not everybody accesses them in the same way. And what we're trying to do is say that actually, from the perspective of kind of whether it's outside your front door, literally some green space around your house, if it's with your children, if it's for your health and well-being, and if it's from an employment or a skills perspective, green space should be part of your life. We've been working in a whole range of different parts of the city. So in Dorbury Fields, which is in the south, Whitton Lakes in the north, Ward End Park more towards the east. And we've been trying out different things. And some of the things that have really worked is getting the community activated. So this is a call out to say to anybody who's got an interest in local green spaces, and I think Inspector Everitt's got this ambition as well, is to kind of join that up. So we'd be really happy to talk to you, Gary, as well about some of your plans. On our list, we've probably got about 10 or so public open spaces that the Park Service record in Newtown. So Burberry Street Park, Gary's already mentioned. Got Clifford Street, Newtown Street West public open space as well. There's Phillip Street Recreation Ground, St Giles Cathedral, St George's Park. There's George's Park in Lozells. Summer Lane, Tower Street, Unit Street. There's various places dotted around in Newtown, and we're really keen to see them used more as much as possible. So the kind of things that we've seen that have worked, having notice boards. Sorry, that's my 4-year-old who's decided to make an entrance. You decided to give me 5 minutes, baby, okay? Sorry, councillor.
Oh, no, it's all right. Yeah.
Come and say hi to my friends. Oh, there's a policeman here. There's a policeman. Where? There he is. Inspector Everitt. Can you say hi? Please. You haven't got a policeman's uniform on. This is Isa, my little boy, and there's a lady called Sonia, and that's a councillor. Okay.
Nice to see you.
Okay, thanks, Daddy. Sorry, folks. So the kind of things that have worked, simple things like actually putting a notice board in a park, and we can help with that. It's a way to communicate with residents about what's going on. Other things, we've helped to fundraise by crowdfunding. Everybody said to me, Humera, you're not going to get people putting their hands in their own pockets for initiatives in green spaces. And we raised £2,500 for a park in Dorbury Fields to create a new home for the slow worms that live there. It'll be a site of education, and it'll be, I can see Sonia's really happy about that, and a place for families to kind of get together. We've had families say to us, we've never spent this much time in the park before, you know. So other things we've done, if there are parts of Newtown that you think we've got some green space, it's not a park, but it's a green space around something. We've helped to build communal gardens for residents, and that's been fantastic for them. They've been stuck in their homes during COVID-19, unable to socialise with each other. Sort out their green space, give them some communal garden space, and they're overjoyed, over the moon. We've got a whole range of skills on offer as well that we've created into a YouTube skills showcase to show people that what is possible in terms of working in green space. It's not just about being a gardener. There's hundreds of jobs, and those are all on that skills showcase. From a health and wellbeing perspective as well, again, there's a lot the community can do. So this really is, I guess, it's just a way to say that we're here, and we're really keen to help support local people, and that's the thing that we need, councillor. Anything is possible when you have a community that's interested, and that's where we've seen where a community is interested, and we might need to help to get that community interest going. But once it's there, it's quite hard to contain it. And we're here to support that. So when I send the presentation out, there's a number of contact details and email addresses and ideas, and we'd be very happy to hear from you. So if I leave it there, councillor, but very happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much for the explanation. Anybody got any questions? Okay.
Sonia, you're on mute.
Sonia, you're on mute. And Humera, there's a few comments in the chat box if you want to have a look at those as well.
Sorry, Kate.
Sorry, Sonia, before you start, once you've spoken, can you turn your camera off, please?
All right, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, then, sorry. No, I'm just saying thank you, Alima. A lot of what you said there will be good, because there's quite a lot of people thinking of the communal space that we can do something with. Thank you. So I'll wait to hear when I get the information. Thank you.
I joined a little late. I unfortunately missed some of what Amira was saying, which relates to community green spaces. Can you possibly give me a contact detail? My name's Mary Simmons Sullivan. I have spoken to Councillor Islam before regarding this.
So Mary, what we'll do is I've got some slides that I've prepared for this, and there'll be contact details in that, Mary, so we can absolutely get that out by okay, for you to pick up that conversation. Dee, I was wondering if it was the same Dee Manning that we know. I think Debbie Needle knows you well from my team. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we work in partnership with a lot of different groups, of which TORS, Active Wellbeing Society, is one of them. So I'm sure we'll be tapping you up, Dee, for that kind of support as well. And I know there is a comment from Claire around fly tipping. It's a vicious circle that we get into with this kind of thing, because when people don't use a space that much, it becomes a site of antisocial behaviour, and it becomes less used, and then it becomes worse. And so to kind of break that, we're seeing it happen kind of even in Swanshurst Park. It's become, I'm actually a Friends of Park chair for Swanshurst Park in my spare time when I'm not a mum. I'm a public health consultant. And we've seen, because now we've got a group of 30 people who love that park and do a lot of work in that park. We've seen it looking cleaner and more families using it, more children, women. It's a slow process, but there definitely there is a way to tackle this, and we'll be really happy to work with you on that. So
anybody else? Any other questions?
There's nothing appearing currently in the chat, Councillor.
Okay, can I just ask one thing? Because I had a call from a lady. I think she will be running some kind of play activities in St. George's. Two sides, one would be near to the St. George's Church, church, the park side, and also the other one is St. George's, the academy. So I think they told me the grass are overgrown grass. Because of the school holiday, children will be using it. So what is the plan so far from your department? So it will be, clean before the, school, school will start, when started from, I think it's from tomorrow, am I right? Or something like that. Anyway, so that would be what would be very important part of our children. They should go to the park only this summertime, they will enjoy. So what is the plan so far, if you know anything about, your plan, so if you can tell us.
Is that particular? Sorry, Councillor, you're very quiet on my.
Okay, so can I repeat again?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm talking about the parks. For example, we got 3 schools, primary school, and 1 secondary school, which you already mentioned about it. About the, one of the school in Aston, secondary school. The parks, St. George's Parks. What I was told by one of the person who will be leading the play scheme during the summertime, that they feel that the grounds of the park overgrown grass, so it's not yet been cut. So is there any program that you have only clean it because summer, because of the children summer? Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Islam, in fact, I'm going to put my email into the chat, and if you could let me know the exact spaces that individual, and also I'm very happy for anybody in this group to contact me directly as well. So
that would be very helpful.
And then I can pick that up with the Park Service councillor, because there is a program of work for every public open space in the city. It might just be that it hasn't got round because the Park Service has lost several £1 million over the last 10 years. That there definitely is the service is. So I'm struggling to type and talk at the same time. I'm definitely not a multitasking woman. There we go. So if you can contact me on that email address, councillor, with the exact names of the spaces and where in the city, then I can follow that up with the Park Service, no problem at all. So
that will be fine. Thank you. If anyone wishes to copy and they can email as well directly, that's fine. Anybody else any question? But is there any other person to ask any question already?
There are a couple of people typing in the chat box, councillor.
Yeah. So
it's just for Amira's attention.
If I could just respond to Claire's point. So we are going through a process in the council. I'm leading, and this will come to you soon as well, Councillor Islam, as a member, but we're looking at developing Birmingham as a city of nature. Yeah. And the whole point of that is that we invest resources, not just from the council, but through fundraising, through external investment, into parts of the city that we know don't do well enough in terms of the environment. So we've actually mapped out the entire 69 wards across the city, and actually Newtown's in our top 10 places to work. We're testing out an approach in Borsley and Highgate at the moment to see how well that works. But I can assure you, Claire, Newtown's very, very high on the list. So given that there's this much interest from the community, I would be probably urging kind of my team to be thinking about kind of what we could do with Newtown next, really, on our list, just because, as I said before, half the battle is finding the people who want to do something. Once you found them, it's about containing, kind of trying to give them all the opportunities and make that available to people to actually make a difference. So again, all those things, we've got plans of how to raise money for that and funding and so forth. So if an outdoor gym is what people want, then I would encourage the community again to get the evidence for that. So as a Friends of Park group, just to give you an idea, I set up a really simple Google form. Question: what would you like to see in your parks? And actually, Dee could probably help here, Dee Manning, because I worked with another member of staff from Tours. This was Lorna before she moved on, Dina, to a different role. And I got a list of all the activities that Tours could help with. And we put them on a survey, one question, sent it out on loads of WhatsApp groups. We've got 150 people responding to that. And because of that, we're now saying that we want to have these activities in the park and we're finding a way to make it happen. So it's absolutely. Claire, yes, the time scale, that's always a good question. So we're working on trying to get the City of Nature adopted by March next year. But there's no reason why we can't start having the conversations in Newtown, kind of probably in the autumn time, I would say. We're getting a lot of our testing done at the moment in Borsley and Highgate. So yeah. I wasn't sure what the response would be at this ward forum, but it's been fantastic. So so thank you all.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Hamira, I was just going to say I'm loving what you're saying there. It's Gary. I chair a Newtown Task and Finish group, and Claire's part of that group as well. We're looking very much at Newtown. It's born out of the LPDG, so it's a partnership approach. But we are very much looking at Newtown and the root cause of the problems, and that is the fly tipping, it's graffiti, it's street lights that need repairing, overgrown bushes, and the issues with the parks. And it's very much focusing at trying to change the look and appeal of the area, because you know what it's like. You walk down an area, if it looks tired and worn, people feel that way about it, and it's just trying to lift that appeal about it. So when people walk down the street, they go, you know what? I'm proud to say that I live here. What a beautiful place it is. And I think that the parks and the open spaces, it's fundamental in changing that area to change people's views and how they feel about the place. And certainly the work that you're talking about there is definitely what we're looking to do. So I will drop you a line after here and we can get together. Thank you.
Fantastic. And just to say, Councillor, again, really happy to hear from anybody from the community. You know, I grew up in Perry Bar, so Newtown is really not very far from me. Well, from my roots. So yeah, I feel a bit of an affiliation there.
I got your email address. Probably some of the audience also got your email address. So if anybody needs any, suddenly I can email you if I need anything. I thank you for attending. I don't think any other questions. So I thank you very much, and good evening and good night to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye. We have now the housing matters, which is actually, we got a very, very important person here today with us, Emma L. Price. She is the housing manager. It's very kind of her. She attended the meeting today. So she will update the resident of Newtown now. And if anybody has any question, please do ask. Thank you.
Good evening, Councillor, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to the meeting. I am the local housing manager acting at the moment for this area. I've done this job for 2 years. And over the last 18 months, like everybody else, it's been quite a testing time for the housing department. We've had all of our staff taken from offices and working from home. So we've been completing no visits unless it's been absolutely essential. The estate staff as well that are based on the low rise and the high rise have been on reduced hours. So our housing interaction with our tenants has been very, very low, which has been quite sad. But hopefully from Monday we'll be back up and running and back out there and sort of interacting and getting back to see people face to face, which is quite an important part of our role. We've, as you've said before, I went on a walkabout, Gary's mentioned it, with Adam McWhorter, the sergeant, and we walked around quite a few areas, and it's a sorry state. Yourself, councillor, has emailed me with many fly tipping reports, and we have such a large list of collections that we need to do. We are aware of them, and I know it's so frustrating for the residents, but we are working our way through, and hopefully now with everybody back on board and back to the full hours, we're going to start to see a bit more of an improvement around the estates. The one thing I would suggest, I know somebody else has mentioned Fix My Street for reporting, but it's really important for us if anybody can identify, I know it's not a very nice thing to ask, but if anyone can identify these fly tippers by registrations or by face, that would also help us a lot in us trying to prosecute these people, because obviously it's such a major issue across the city. It's not just this area, it's right across the city which we're suffering. So if anybody sees anything and can report it, please do. Just an update on the one of the main blocks, probably, which is the most eyesore in Newtown, is Inkerman House. Inkerman is currently having quite a big spend. It's having all the balconies enclosed, and internal works. They're having all new kitchen and bathrooms inside. All the landings will be resurfaced with lino. So it's quite a hefty job. So that's hopefully going to look 100% better once that has finished. And I'm working alongside, because the balconies have actually been closed off from the inside. So I'm currently working with Dee and one of my housing officers, Jay, trying to do some interaction with the residents there to see, what sort of activities they would be prepared to take part in. We're going to do some letter dropping, some door knocking. So just to try and get some interest and see what people want to do, and like the parks, sort of why aren't people using them, and sort of get an idea of what sort of things we can run and support different agencies, to direct our tenants to the activities. Say we're starting to get back out there now, so you should see a bit more of the housing officers and the estate staff, and slowly improving. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, please fire away.
Has anybody any questions so far?
Hi, yeah, it's Gary again. But one question, it might be a bit late now with the work that's going on at Inkerman House. Now, I've seen in other countries where they have the tower blocks, and to try and change the look of them, that they turn them into more green spaces, because obviously people in tower blocks don't have gardens themselves, and they've been it's obviously paid for on behalf of the tenants, where they have had plants and the like put onto the balconies for them. Is that something that would ever be considered with what's going on?
It's not, because I mean the simple reason would be because if something fell off that balcony down onto the floor, then obviously we would have a case against us for providing that sort of basket on the balcony. They are actually looking for health and safety reasons as well. I don't know if you've noticed quite a few of the blocks around the city now where they had open balconies, they're now enclosing them, just as a health and safety to stop people opening, unlocking the windows, opening them wide, and then there's a chance that someone can fall, which obviously has happened in the past. But I totally get what you're saying, and it's something that I could possibly discuss with the operatives about something maybe internal. But again, it's all about fire and health and safety regulations that we'd have to meet.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, there's no questions in the chat box. Councillor, or no raised hands.
Okay. Just I have some questions and queries. Thank you, Emma. Your explanation is very nice. And one or two things just I would like to confirm. For example, I have requested a particular case, Attenborough Close. There are people are kept on dumping, and the resident requested me. I went there, took photographs, and I actually requested to the Living Department to do something about, because they would like to clear this tiny portion of land by themselves. They will plant flowers, this and this, and they need some kind of unused tires. How come we can achieve? For example, it's not only one place, another one in Park Lane. I'm sure you are of this for many years. It's going on. And the nearby resident, they want to look after the land if the city council allow them to use, so that they will keep maintaining with flowers and so on. So if this is the case, how we can approach either you or somebody else says what is the best way to achieve this by the resident? Yeah,
Councillor, I have actually seen that email, and and because the original request was about them actually buying the land. And I sent that off to Land and Property, and I haven't had a response yet to see how they would go about, purchasing the land. But I mean, there could be a neighbourhood agreement between the family and the housing department to say if it wasn't available for purchase, they could still, maintain it or put flowers in. That wouldn't be an issue at all. But I have put that question to Land and Property, and as soon as I get a reply, obviously I'll update you.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Another thing you remember, so-called, the Stage B avenue number, is it number 24 and next to 23, 24? Has it been resolved now? Because remember you emailed me that you are going to speak to someone about a barrier or something. Have you achieved anything from there? Because this gentleman has not contacted me since about last 3 weeks, so I think that maybe he's happy. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, every time, to be honest, every time I've gone past, there's been nothing there. I met with Munassib, who's the tenancy participation officer, last week to look at that site. And I can't remember whether I mentioned to you about maybe putting some gates across the front, so it would block off that rampway to prevent people walking up and just dumping. So Munassib is going to come back with some quotes once he's got those off weights. So that's another option. But it seems to, I know the estate staff are now, that's a hot spot, and they are picking those up, but it seems to have gone a bit quiet.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But if you can drop me a few lines, email whenever you get time, so that at least I know what has been happening. And in case if he comes next to me or any other resident from the same area, then I can tell at least there is something going on. Yeah. So yeah. So I think the head up by Mary. Do you want any questions?
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm just going back to the mention about Attenborough Close. maybe there are two separate conversations regarding that. The lady mentioned that there was a request about purchasing the land, and that could be a separate.
Separate. It is separate. Yeah, I'm going to clear it. Yeah, I'm going to clear.
Okay, because there's one issue about having assistance to clear and plant an area, and what I'm hearing today, there's it sounds like another discussion about purchasing the land. I don't think it's one and the same issue.
Yeah.
So I can contact for clarity. If that's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I just clarify this situation? I sent 3-4 emails about all this. There are different locations. The the housing manager, she mentioned about the one location, because recently I sent an email about the Metro Avenue. Somebody wishes to buy, and if they have no chance to buy it, then they want to acquire it to make it nice. So this is the one occasion. But at Edinburgh Close, I did never mention anything about purchasing by the resident. Only I requested for the they will be planting flowers, and this they need only permission from the from the housing side or city council side. Once it will be achieved, then they will do look after the Also, the Park Lane one is the same way. They do not want to buy the land, but they want to plant flowers and then look after the the land where lots of dumping going on in Park Lane. It is quite a lot. 3 years is going on, and I'm really fed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for clarifying this point. Anyway, so anybody else? Anybody else? Any questions? Okay. Just before you leave, Emma, can I ask you, because we had a meeting today, the Hensworth, around, Newtown, one of the meeting for Newtown for the various committee leader attended. So then wonder whether it is possible, probably 2 months, 3 months time, they can meet you, either you can meet them somewhere like a school or somewhere, monthly basis. I think anybody there from this, because they requested the how to join the meeting. I already forwarded. If anybody is here, can you ask this question? If not, what I can do, if you ask me to give them your email address so that they can approach you, and if you if you think it is it is possible, then why not you can carry on.
Yeah, I mean, what? Sorry, councillor, what was the name of the group?
It is actually, we had a meeting this afternoon, it is what is called Newtown round table meeting. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. You've got my email address, so that's I've got no issue with that.
Yeah. So they can individually email you, and then probably you can reach an agreement.
Yeah.
Okay. That will. Anybody else has any more questions?
No other questions, Councillor.
Okay. So can I thank you again, Emma, for your time, and we really appreciate your coming today.
No problem.
We love to see you in future as well.
Yeah, no problem.
You are doing a very good job. I'm very happy, and I'm sure the resident of Newtown should be happy with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now we should move to the work plan update.
Councillor, that's for you to give an update in terms of what's happening in Newtown as a ward councillor.
Yeah. One update is, first of all, this about fly tipping is it's too much. Anyways, not only in Newtown but everywhere. But it is one of the major headache. So probably I don't know whether we can put it, because it's up to the resident to decide which one they need to see in Newtown. What the work plan is, because we had a previous one, for example, if you think that there are lots of the potholes and all these things, transportation and all these things, what about if you think about the the clean yard zone? Any question? Because the other side of the clean yard zone within Newtown, people are there are lots of things, new things come to the attention of the residents. So if anybody wishes to, because if we cannot complete this one in this meeting, probably our next meeting we can have a proper the work plan up to date work plan, so that we can keep to that. So if anybody has any other issue about this work plan, or if you want to add anything, please do by all means now.
There seems to be no raised hands, nothing in the chat apart from just, Councillor, if I could take the opportunity for those attendees, just put something in the chat. I know we have a number of residents on the call. If you would email me separately with your email address rather than in the chat, I'll ensure that you are on our mailing list for future meetings.
Also, I think Belma already raised her hand. So over to Belma.
Yeah. Good afternoon there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, the question I'm going to ask, I was told that the old Pertemps building in Newtown, they're undergoing some repairs at the moment, but I heard that their job center is supposed to be moving into that outlet soon. Is that true?
Sorry, which one? Sorry, I can't hear you properly.
The Pertemps.
Pertemps, yeah.
Pertemps building in Newtown.
Yeah, okay.
For the old Pertemps, there's no I don't remember the initials of that name, but it's the old Pertemps that I understand they're going to move the job center into that outlet. Is that confirmed?
Okay. I cannot answer you now exactly. Can I come back to you? I got your email address. Can I come back to you tomorrow afternoon?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'll come back to you tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Anybody else? No, I don't think. Should I move to local updates?
Yes, please, Councillor.
Okay, local updates, actually, what I'm going to say, because I know lots of people in Newtown, because they are actually reporting about the fly tipping and all these things. But as you know, even Part and know, because with the Birmingham City Council, they are actually going to spend £7 million about to make it happen. I mean, we love your neighbor, love your street, and all these things. So I think the Birmingham City Council will be actually more active to catch the criminal and those who are fly tippers and all the as you have mentioned previously. So these are the one thing I think Newtown is also one of the one they actually included in Aston, Newtown, Lozells, and these sorts of things, because there are lots of fly tipping within the inner city areas. So these are the one local update I can tell you, but it will be happening soon. About the local updates, I know it is not an update, but what I'm going to tell you, everyone I think know about it. The vaccination updates, and Newtown is the highest number of people who are not taking the the vaccination, and it was already discussed Tuesday's meeting in the city council. So I think if those who are actually here now and those who are going to the church, mosque, anywhere, or any community event, please advise everyone to get vaccination, especially the young people 18 plus, which is Newtown is already done, already 36 point, actually I got the list here, 38.6 over the age of 18, but 50 plus, we got about 59%. So which are the top of the list, the lot of the young people are not taking, the vaccination. Another one, on the 17th of this month, which is today's time, there will be actually without any appointment, 18 plus, anybody can go get vaccine, Pfizer vaccination from the whole school from 10 till I think 4:30. So if you can make a note, tell your friends, relatives, everybody to use these facilities as much as you can. Also, there are other areas as well. I haven't got all the list. But you can also the Aston Villa one as well as the Millennium Point and other places. So please ask your friends, relatives to follow this up. Thank you. Any other point?
Sorry, Councillor, I've raised my hand in connection with your plea regarding vaccination. One of the suggestions I would make, and I'm going to put it in the chat box, is that NHS and Public Health should look at having a mobile vaccination point in the shopping centre rather than at Holt. 2 weeks ago, I travelled through Wheeler Street, and the take-up was low because of the location. I think they will get a better response if the vaccination point is near the shopping centre. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, it was actually, because we had it, because 2 weeks or so, is it 1st of July, I recommended Newtown Shopping Centre. So we discussed this matter today, and the inspector was there today as well. So hopefully we'll be hearing by next week. So there will be any kind of, bed or something, transportation will be available. We have to find a location where we have to ask the center manager, or somebody can ask we need the permission. I'll talk to someone Newtown in the shopping center. If have they got any pace, have they got any problem to locate this one, and so that the people. And also, what I'm going to do, most likely tomorrow, I'll be going to the Huda Center to tell the people to go for the vaccination. Another one, probably Saturday or Sunday, I go myself along with another 2 people, and talking to the people and encourage them to go for vaccination. All right.
I think that's it now, Councillor.
Sorry,
there's no questions in the chat box and no raised hands.
Okay, thank you. So please, okay. So I think that this is the end of the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody joining this meeting, and I hope we will be arranging another meeting soon. And I hope everybody will attend again to our next meeting, probably in the autumn.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Pat.